This video is in response to the query or question about how to deal with difficult emotions when they arise, or intense sensations that seem uncomfortable. And my response is a simple approach that is non-invasive and does not require much effort, if any, really. So to begin with, we notice the sensation or the emotion. And usually it's somewhere in the body. There's some intensity of sensation, and we can identify a location, for instance, in the chest, in the belly, in the face, in the throat. And once we've localized that sensation, we can then explore in a tactile way with our attention the very experience of the sensation. So we allow our attention to dive into the raw experience of the sensation in the chest, in the belly, in the face, in the throat, wherever it may be. So we go as deeply with our attention into the substance of the experience of the sensation. And if with our attention we're exploring the substance of the sensation, we do not find matter or an object that exists independently of consciousness. Attention itself is the very stretching or focusing of consciousness within consciousness to a movement of experience, in this case, the sensation. So it is consciousness that is experiencing the substance of the sensation. And that substance cannot exist independently of consciousness, because consciousness is conscious of the sensation. For consciousness to be conscious of the sensation is for consciousness to be one with the substance of the sensation. So the place from which we are directing our attention, directing the focusing of consciousness, is the very same substance that we are meeting, that is all that is present as the sensation. Consciousness is conscious of a movement of sensation within itself, not separate from itself. So that sinking with attention, with the movement of consciousness into the sensation, is experiencing the sensation as a movement of consciousness, the very consciousness that we are. And we allow attention, and there's nothing wrong with this focusing here, to probe gently, deeply into the sensation, to feel the substance that's there. Feel this substance as one with consciousness, as made of consciousness. And feeling this substance as consciousness. We see that the consciousness that we are is not resisting the sensation. There's no separation there for a resistance or an interaction to take place. The sensation is pervaded by consciousness, made of consciousness. And being that we are this consciousness, the very one conscious of these words now and the sensation, we are not resisting the sensation. I am not resisting the sensation. The very substance there is myself. The essential substance of the sensation is myself, consciousness. And see that as we go deeply with attention into the nuances of the movement of the sensation, feeling its substance as consciousness, any objective quality or conceptual label is seen to be an add-on, a superimposition, not intrinsic to that substance itself. The substance is pure consciousness. And as such is the nature of pure consciousness. Absolute peace. From the perspective of consciousness, this sensation, which is a movement of itself, is completely perfect. It is made of the peace that consciousness is. And thus is fully loved. So now there is no duality present, or even apparent, as we understand and experience that the sensation is made of consciousness. There's no distinction between I and the sensation, for they are one substance. The idea of difficulty, of turbulence, overwhelming intensity is a thought added after the fact of the raw experience of the sensation being made of consciousness. And that thought, if believed, makes the sensation seem to be emotional in a negative sense. That is producing psychological suffering for a dualistic self, a self separate from the sensation, a self that has limitations. So if we see that kind of thought, which is not so kind, then we simply notice that it's additional. It's not intrinsic to the substance of what's really there, this pure consciousness vibrating as the sensation, utterly wordless, just raw, naked vibration. And magically, a transformation often occurs in the intensity and quality of the sensation. Although now we as consciousness are not interested in whether the sensation changes, because we love the sensation fully, knowing full well it is made of ourself. And so this approach can be applied any moment we seem to be experiencing an overwhelming emotion or intense, difficult sensation, just to see clearly that we are and always are loving the sensation as it is the substance that we are, pure consciousness.